I think it's funny because Jax is definitely he's the number one villain in the
Oh,
group.
sure.
And Jesse and Janet are fighting for number 2 villain in the group.
Jesse's, I find him so compelling. I felt the same way last year. I know a lot of people think he's an asshole, and he is, but he's an asshole who's so self-aware that he's an asshole. And he also just, he's got the riz, as the kids say. Like, there's just something about him that I'm just like, I want to see more of this guy. Like, even if he's being a total dick, like Jax being an asshole, I don't need to see that. We know Jax is an asshole. We're tired of Jax being an asshole. But I don't know, there's just something about Jesse.
And he might end up becoming the number 1 villain, and that oh my god, that would make Jax spiral even more. Because yeah, like we said, like Jax is dumb and just works from id, whereas Janet and Jesse work from ego. But I also think that like Jesse is definitely I think he's still smarter than Janet. God damn it, I hate to admit when a man is smarter than a woman.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Happy Friday, PC peers. It is all diapers and cocaine, right? Right.
Wow, that is a lead-in. Yes. Ahoy, by the way.
Ahoy. I mean, it's Friday. We might as well. It's Friday and we're in the Valley, so we might as well go there with Jax Taylor and company.
Valley's back. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
I know like premieres are never particularly exciting because there's so much backstory from the previous season that they kind of have to catch up on. And I think I don't know if it's that these aren't terribly interesting, compelling people, but not a lot happened. Like I don't. There's a few people in the Valley that I do find compelling, like Jesse and Zack, and feel however you feel about them. But a lot of these cast members aren't, which I think is why Bravo is like slow rolling into making it VPR 2. It started with, I mean, several VPR, like Jax, Brittany, Kristen, and then a bunch of other people. But now Lala and Sheena are coming on. They just threw Schwartz in this episode. So it's like, they're just going VPR 2.0.
Schwartz is going to be in the entire season, I believe.
Oh, is he? I thought he was just popping in.
Because he's in the after show.
Oh.
Yeah. Him and I can't even remember his name. Sheena's husband.
Brock.
Too.
Oh, Brock's another one. I did see that because I saw a whole lot of people online being like, why the hell is Brock here?
Right.
Yeah.
Please stop with Brock.
So, I mean, so you add the 4 of them, and basically, I don't know if they're going to push any of these other people out, but they're just not terribly compelling. Like I said, Zack is funny. I think, again, say what you will about Jesse. I find him interesting at the very least. And Janet has taken this route where like she started the show last year as like kind of just gossipy, and her pregnancy was going to be a storyline. But then towards the end, and now she's trying to roll into the villain because she realized that's where the attention is. And so she's realized how to get storylines, but a lot of these other characters.
I think it's funny because Jax is definitely he's the number 1 villain in the group.
Oh, sure.
And Jesse and Janet are fighting for number 2 villain in the group.
Yeah. Jax had that great line though when he was called. Who is it who called him a villain? Was it? It might have been Jesse, where he's he said, I was on villains, but I only lasted 5 minutes. So how bad a villain could I actually be? And it's like, well, I mean, good point. But yeah, Jax is just in a different level. You knew going in he was going to be the villain. So the other ones are just trying to slide in, try to get in there.
The thing is that like, well, I think Jesse is a smarter villain. Jesse is a smarter person. I think Janet is also smarter than Jax. Jax is just dumb.
Oh, he's an idiot. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a moron. He just, Jax is a villain narcissist who just moves on impulse, not from, and I mean like from his like groin area. Like he's all like sacral and root chakra.
He's all id. Like Jesse and Janet are like ego and super ego. Jax is just id. That's all he is. It's like a big baby.
Oh my gosh.
I did have a question. So the episode started very dramatically, and then they cut to the 7 days earlier. But So by the end of the episode, was that the 7 days? Because a lot of the drama they were starting in the beginning was not. They didn't reach that level by the end. So I'm like,
Yeah.
is this? They're not gonna. I'm like, well, so how far into the season are we gonna get through these 7 days? Because they
I
made a
don't
big point of
know.
saying 7 days earlier, as if that was gonna be a big buildup
Mhm.
till all that drama. And there was a little bit of it, like the white party and Jax kind of losing it a little bit. But those opening seconds made it seem like, oh, shit's going down. And then we didn't get it. We didn't get the payoff.
I don't know. Like, obviously, yeah, it wasn't the full 7 days or wasn't even 6 days. Like, to me, it looks like either that payoff's gonna happen next episode. I would say within the next 2 episodes,
Yeah.
that should at least pay off. Because because this should be whatever sends him to rehab the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, well, let's start from kind of the beginning. Granted, I actually watched this live at my friend Jessica's
Ooh.
place. I know, like we had a Beverly Hills reunion part 3 conclusion / premiere Valley premiere watching session, and so I got to watch it live on
Ooh.
cable. So yeah, but so I didn't take the exact same notes that I normally take. I was like, but but it starts with like, I mean, it starts with like kind of the montage of like catching up with everybody,
Mhm.
and the main thing is, well, the first thing I wrote is Jesse's still an asshole, and I was like, yes.
But yes, and it came out the most of the episode. You're like, oh, he's more responsible now. But then at the
Right.
end, when they're getting into it at the party, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yep.
He can't hide it
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
And I think he might just look responsible next to Jax. That's everybody looks responsible next to Jax.
That's what it is. And I feel like look, just like Jax can sometimes he'll admit things that he's done wrong and he'll do that and you'll be like, "Oh, okay." Like, no. It's has the behavior changed overall? Like, yeah, because at the end when Jesse was like, "Did I just say that stuff just to push Michelle's buttons?" Yeah, of course I
Yeah.
did. It's like, no, then you're not really like growing and
But
changing and doing this stuff.
I hate jumping around. I try not to, but like when
Yeah.
he
We always do.
his
It's the two of
apology,
us.
Jesse's apology to Janet seemed, was it Janet?
Kristen.
Kristen. Yeah, that seems, was it? Yeah. That seemed more
Yeah.
sincere. That seemed like, to the point where
Yeah.
Kristen was kind of taken aback by like, oh, he's kind of grown up a little bit. But yeah, but then by the end you're like, oh, okay, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, that did seem sincere. It seems sincere. It also seems like a good calculation for him of like, well, let me try to definitely get her on my side before Michelle can, before that could end up getting repaired, because
Yeah.
even like Michelle and Kristen were not on good terms, but that could always change, so it's
Yeah.
like, let me try to get her on my side before I can, because also it does turn out Kristen was right. So,
Yeah, she was enjoying that. She was enjoying
oh
the
yeah.
what she even said, "I'm always right." Which I mean, so far
Mhm.
you are. So far, yeah,
Mhm.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the main thing, like, it's starting off as, of course, then Jesse going over to Jax's, you had the dueling conversations of Jesse and Jax and Brittany. Where was Brittany?
Brittany
Who
was
she
was
talking
she at the plant thing with was that
Janet?
with Janet? Yeah. I think so. I'm see, this is what happens when we jump all around, is that I lose track of things.
I
But
know.
I know that Brittany and Janet went to that plant version of Color Me
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah. No. At the same sorry, but this was before that plant thing, which was also hilarious. No, because it was a Jackson, Jesse, Brittany, and Michelle, because Brittany and Michelle were talking at Brittany's Airbnb rental,
That's right. Okay.
and they were talking. And this is the thing, and we keep hearing it, and like we heard it when Jax did his hot mic thing. Jordan and I talked about it on our little like special episode. Jax is all like, I got so upset because she was texting my friend Julie, and like I found out she was sleeping with, yeah, of course. Like, we did say that we could see other people, like that we could like sleep with other people because we were like separated, but not my friend.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Like, why my friend? And we had just been talking about like, and I was like, this is that classic like Darvo move, like defend, attack, reverse, victim, and offend. Oh my gosh, she's hurt me so much. Like she's the bad person. I didn't do anything. Like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Like, yes, I'm not perfect, but look what she did. It's always that. It is always that. That's exactly what he does every single time. He goes, yeah, I did a bad thing, but Brittany does something worse, or Brittany is just as bad. No, Brittany is not just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany does not have a cocaine habit.
Mm.
Brittany is not an alcoholic. Brittany is Brittany does not have to go to rehab. Like you tried to paint her as an alcoholic, Jax, and she is not. Brittany did not cheat on you, unlike you, who has cheated on her multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
With her friend. You cheated on Tom with Kristen. Like, and Stassi, like, hello, you have cheated so many times on all of your partners. Like, what the actual fuck? And it's getting, and every time he's like, I'm 45. And it's like, yeah, you are 45. I don't think you're ever going to grow the fuck up and change.
That one point I did note is that I take offense to this, how often it was brought up, the age. Like Jesse, I think it was Michelle talking about Jesse being like, oh, you're 44 years old, you got to grow up. And then Jax, you're 45, you got to grow up. And me being 44, I'm like, whoa. Hey, let's not act like that's old. Okay, that's not old. I'm not grown up.
It's not old, but at the same time, there's a level of maturity that you need. Also, you don't have children. These two men do.
That I know of.
That's the great thing about being a man. You could have children out there
you never
to
know.
not know about.
Yeah.
You know, not the same thing for women unless it's an alien. Unless it's an alien baby.
Yeah, true. That's true.
But when Jax was like, he said something like, he was like, what man wouldn't be upset, like wouldn't rage at like finding out his wife had done da, da, da. And I go, I could show you, and I like to throw a white man under the bus, or any man under the bus, but especially a white man. But I was like, I could still show you a stadium full of men who would not react that
like
way,
throwing tables and such,
and tantrums and threatening, verbally abusing, and doing that type of stuff. Absolutely. There are so many men. That is not in my opinion, that's not a justifiable reaction. You have every right to be angry, jealous, to have that reaction, but to externalize it to make it somebody else's problem is not correct.
I wrote that down. The exact quote is, "Show me a guy who wouldn't have handled it the way I handled it." And I was like watching this show by myself, being like, I wouldn't have handled it that way, and I'm guessing a lot of people would not have.
In the after show, he said the same thing, and Tom Schwartz is like, me, like, because I think who else was sitting with them? God damn it, I can't remember. It'll come back to me later, but the third person was like, well, the same thing happened to Tom Schwartz. Like Katie, Katie started sleeping with his friend Max after they broke up, and Tom didn't go off the handle, like fly off the handle and go crazy. And then of course, then Jax was like, well, that's different. He lets everything roll off his back. And I was like,
maybe that's the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. But dude, also like they were like, it was so interesting because they showed a quick scene and they showed there was a dichotomy between showing Cruz kind of crawling all over Brittany and wanting to be close to Brittany and kind of like wanting to play with Brittany, and then another time when Jax is trying to hug Cruz and Cruz literally like pushed his face away. And granted, it is a child that we don't know, and there can always be like tons of stuff, and of course there are developmental issues apparently that are happening with him, but I still was like, there was an energetic feeling of like, this child does not like you. Like you're his father, but like this child is probably scared of you, because every time he was like, thank God Cruz was in the other room. It's like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, you think
you live in a cheap ass new build like that. That sound carried throughout that entire house. That was an
This
open floor plan house.
this isn't Kathy where the other side of the house is a mile away.
Right.
This is like yeah. And just imagine if Jax is doing this shit on camera, imagine what he's doing off camera.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, but in the plant store with Janet, when the guy says to her that that plant, because they're putting everything in a terrarium, so it needs to stay small. He goes, "Oh, that'll grow to 6 feet." Janet says something like, "Well, you could use something that's 6 feet." She goes, "Yeah, but that doesn't put heels in his shoes."
Oh, I saw yeah, I was like, "Oh, damn."
I was like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
love that little burn."
I another thing that happened there that I don't particularly like Janet. She was kind of annoying last year, but now if she's
Mhm,
gonna slide into the villain role, who knows? But the
mhm.
one thing I did enjoy is that when she said with Brittany that her idea of a good time is ordering Taco Bell at home. And I was like, that is relatable. I'm with you there.
Mhm.
Yes.
But this
Yes.
is the thing about villains. Villains are humans too, supposedly, and they always will have something that makes them relatable that we will be able to relate to, because otherwise they couldn't get away with what they get away with.
Yeah, you can't I mean, even like the villains on others. Well, Camille was a different. I don't remember, at least in early on, I don't remember Camille doing anything relatable. But
No.
Erica has her moments,
Yeah.
like especially lately, the last 2 seasons. Yeah, they need to show somewhat of a human side, otherwise, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There's always something. But yeah, but um what was it? I was like, oh, it was there that Janet was talking about how she's not friends with Kristen and Zach anymore, and they played that clip and she said that Kristen and Zach didn't want her baby to go to full term, and I was like, "What?" And then
yeah,
they played that, podcast piece, and I was like, "What?" And, actually, I couldn't remember Zach's name, and so I wrote Lego.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, yeah, his name is Zach."
That was so funny that he got. I think it was Janet later on said made fun of his Lego hair. And
Yeah.
the first time Zach was on camera when he had lunch with, I think Nia, um, I was looking at his hair, I'm like, "Okay, it looks improved." Because remember, we on this podcast,
Mhm,
we were making fun of his hair last year, and he responded he reposted it. So I'm like,
mhm.
did we cause something to change his hair? And then as I watched, I'm like, "Nah, it hasn't changed that much."
No, it seems that was either a mid-season replacement of hair or, afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
still got that Lego thing going on, but I yeah.
yeah. But I just was like, "Wait a minute, what is going on here? Like, what happened?" And I was watching in the after show, and it seemed to be, some I I I don't it seemed to be, something drunken said off camera that he was, mad at Janet and said something. But then also Kristen got roped into it because she's friends, but, everybody's friends with Zach. And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I
Yeah.
was like "What?" And then, of course, they're talking to Zach, and Zach's confessional outfit. I'm sorry, I have to say no to the crochet top. Absolutely. What is that outfit? I'm fine with the pink jacket. I'm fine with Jesse's pink, slacks, but that crochet top
Mm.
is just gross. No. I wouldn't put that on anybody.
Mm,
Anybody.
yeah.
I also didn't I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I just feel like Janet's, making something out of I'm not gonna say nothing because obviously I don't have a baby, but I don't know. I just need more information. I just
Yeah.
don't trust all the information just only coming from Janet.
Yeah. And in the heat of the moment, yeah, Zach yelled, "I don't care." He wasn't specifically I mean, maybe he didn't even hear Janet say something like, "If I can't be stressed, I might lose the baby or something." It didn't seem like Zach was yelling the "I don't care" in response to that.
Also, let me this is actually more about Jax and like Jesse, then Janet, all these fucking J names. I can't get away
So
from
hard.
them.
Jason,
Jason.
it's hard.
But like there are some people out there who use their child as a crutch to get away with their bad behavior. Like, and because a lot of the times, if I think a lot of people notice that Jax is wearing not only a Jax Studio City hat, and he's going to be wearing that all fucking season long when he can, but he's wearing this dad life sweatshirt. And everything is about being a dad and like being this great dad. And like, I couldn't believe because my child is in the other room and da da. And I've seen it before though too with moms of like, well, but I'm a mother now. I don't do that anymore because I'm a mother now. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't just change because you had a baby. And also like, then everything is like, how can you say that? I have a child.
Yeah.
They're not talking about your child. Like, I don't think that he was talking about your child. I think he was just saying, I don't care about this whole situation. Like, I feel like he
Yeah.
was just like, I don't care. I don't care that like you're pregnant. I don't care that like this, like that doesn't change what you were saying or what you were doing or what you were making me feel.
Right.
I
Right.
think that's the feeling that I got. I reserve the right to rephrase that later on if more knowledge I come across, but that's what it seemed to me. I just was like, ugh, I don't know.
I did enjoy that Zach referred to Janet as plain McBoring pants. That was good. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, she finally is getting on a Bravo television show. Let's not get it twisted. She probably really wanted to be on Vanderpump Rules because she worked at SUR and she was a part of that. No, she didn't work at SUR, but she was a part of that group. She was in the background of, some episodes at times like that. So she's finally getting on it with her. I'm just going to say she has a Teresa Giudice like forehead.
You mean the 3-head? She has a 3-head?
She has a 2-head almost.
A 2-head? Hmm.
And look, I can't really talk because I have a 5-head.
I've got it. I mean, what is it? Infinite? If my forehead goes back to the neck, so I don't even know what that is.
We're not ones to talk, but I just have to say, I just noticed. I was like, oh, she has a Teresa Giudice forehead. I was like,
I didn't even know. Now it's the only thing I'm going to be able to see.
I mean, it is like I am a little jealous of people who can have a lot less Botox because they have a lot less forehead.
Very strong. Teresa's is a little too strong, but yeah,
very strong. I would say that Janet is not as strong as Teresa.
I did not even notice. I'll have to. Now it's all again. It's gonna be so distracting because it's all I'm gonna look at.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna go. It goes to then we already talked about Kristen and Jesse, and that apology, and then Nia and Danny. I had to remember their names again too. Well, I remember her name. I couldn't remember his name.
They're just. It's just a continuation. Like last year, Nia didn't really have any storylines because it was like she was home with the kids all the time, and Danny, even when he went out with the boys, all he really talked about was the kids. So and now I guess is the new storyline is that she wants a fourth. Like, is that what we're doing now? Like every storyline of theirs involves just more kids, and I guess Danny wants to move to Santa Clarita. Is that what we're doing now? That's their storyline. Because
that's a continuation of last year's storyline.
Yeah,
because he wanted to move to Santa Clarita.
I mean, he seems like a very nice guy. Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of conflict. I mean, what last year the only conflict was didn't Jax pants? Yeah, he was the one that Jax pantsed at the party, wasn't it? Remember at the pool party? But that wasn't even. And they built that up to be dramatic for like the trailers and the previews. But Danny just turned around and laughed about it. Like it wasn't even like a big thing. But that's literally the only thing I remember that happened to Danny last year was getting pantsed at a party.
He also got drunk at the lake on the baby moon.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of was like got a little like loose lipped about how he was feeling. Oh well, I mean, I feel it was fine that he finally was like verbalizing how fatherhood and like all these children in this small space was like really overwhelming for him. And I was like, good for you. You need to talk about that. But it was almost like kind of like in an inappropriate setting because it's like let's not let it happen that you have to get drunk and then be around the guys to like have to do this. Like, let's like let's learn how to manage it. But This is the thing. I feel like Nia and Danny are gonna be that couple who have the normal, boring
Yeah.
conversations that everybody really relates to, whether or not and I do appreciate it because I think we always need that couple, like, that
Yeah,
kind
you
of,
need a
like
baseline. If everybody's insane, then nobody's insane. So, like,
exactly.
this is we're looking at everybody in comparison. Like, look at Jax. Well, Jax is insane compared to
Yeah.
anybody, but just look at everybody else compared to. Though, Danny just seems boring, but kind of in a nice, nice guy way. Jason is boring. I don't know what's going on there, but there's something creepy about Jason. Like, he might have bodies buried in the backyard, like that kind of. Like, it's just I don't know. There's something unsettling about him.
Jason might like, he seems boring, but he's almost like this is what I sometimes wonder about men who pick, ugh, mean women. Like, there's something mean about you that you're hiding, and, like, you're
Yeah.
hiding behind a nice guy facade. Actually, you saw it on for our Australian listeners who love maths like I do, it's kinda like Clint. Clint from this past season of maths, like, he seemed like a nice guy, but then he was off you don't know a thing of what I'm talking about, Nate, but he
No.
got paired with this woman, Lauren, and she was you felt sorry for her for a minute, but she was a really mean and nasty person. Like, I'm just gonna say it. She was nasty. The way she talked about other like women and like she just was so mean. And all of a sudden you were like, at first you were like, I can't believe he's like stuck with her, da da. And then the next thing you know, he's picking up for her. He's like, no, da da. He's like, I can't believe you guys would say this, da da. And they're like, dude, she doesn't like you. She's even told us she doesn't like you. She's gonna dump you. And he's like, no, that's not gonna happen, da da. Well, that did happen. And then he hooks up with another member of the cast, this woman named Jackie, who is legitimate, like, and I don't use this word a lot when talking about other women. She is crazy. Like, she was paired with a man who I did not like, but she made me feel sorry for that guy in the first place. This guy Ryan, she made me feel so sorry for him. And then I was just like, but the way that she was like, she would literally act you would watch her, like, break down in tears, no actual tears, break down crying, but without no actual tears, and then they would say something, and she'd be like, "Okay," and she would just stop, and you're like, "Oh my god." And so now she's with Clint, and he has done the same thing. It's, like, picked up everything that she says is gospel, everything. So that's what I think Jason is. Jason is like Clint from Maths, like
Okay.
he seems nice, but they're like they have a weak character. It's a reverse pick me. It's a male pick me in that
Yeah.
sense of like, I will just put up with whatever this mean person says because I don't believe in myself enough.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
and Jason could be like that. We just need to get to know Jason more.
But we've had like a season and now an episode, and we've gotten nothing from him. So yeah, I mean, there's time. It might be a slow burn.
Yeah.
That can happen, or he
Yeah.
might just be a boring ass person. That's possible too. There've been boring spouses on this show before. Or not this show, but Bravo in general.
In my now 47 years, I would much rather be with a boring ass man than a fucking Jax Taylor, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
No,
Like,
I'm here. I am saying Danny's boring, but it's like, yeah, that's probably the one you want to be married to, though.
you want to be married to the boring guy. Like you
Yeah.
definitely just like I'm sorry, you kind of want to be married to the boring girl as well.
Yeah.
Like you just like the crazy, like flashy person. They're great in your 20s and your early 30s, but when you want to get married, choose the boring person.
Yeah. Well, unless you're Jesse, because he married a boring person, and that did not end well.
Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, as she said, it was a one night stand that went on too long. So
Yeah. It
that's
happens.
on both of them. That's on both of them. That
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also another thing too, when they're going to that white party, which by the way, okay, I thought we were done with white parties.
I was gonna.
Thought we were
I
done.
wrote that down. That can we stop with white? It's so overplayed because, like, I mean, I feel like it on Bravo. It was Kyle's thing, but even in real life, we've got. Was it Michael Rubin throws the white party every 4th of July in the Hamptons?
Mhm,
A
mhm.
certain disgraced music producer that we shall not
Thank you.
name was very famous for a white party. It's like
Mhm.
Okay, let's think. Throw a fucking red party. Does it all have to
Yeah.
be a white party? It's almost like, I don't know if it was with you, like if you had it, or I definitely had it in high school where everything was Titanic themed. Like
Oh,
every
thank
party,
God,
my
no.
my
But
prom, everything was Titanic themed, which if you think about it, really fucked up. Same way when people throw Great Gatsby parties, it's like,
yes.
okay, have you read the book? Because no. But yeah, the white party's just, it's everybody's
It's so
doing it.
overdone.
Yeah.
Everybody's it's overdone. I fucking hate it. It's also like that was cool. I'm sorry, it was cool in 2004.
Yeah.
It is 21 years later. Please stop it. We've been trying to my favorite party, actually, my favorite party theme from when I was in a sorority was we would sometimes do this invite party called P is for party, and you dressed up as something starting with a P. And so you
Oh.
got all these different, and one of my favorite ones was not mine. It was my friend's, one of my sorority sisters. She dressed up as Purple Rain. And so she had like this whole purple outfit, and then she had a purple umbrella, and she put like purple streamers in it. She
Ooh.
was Purple Rain. And
See,
then
I
like
like
people,
that's clever.
it's very clever. Like another friend dressed up as Prometheus, like park rangers. Like P is for party is a great theme because
Yeah.
it's specific yet open at the same time. In fact, I'm gonna throw a party. It's gonna be P is for party. I'm bringing it back.
We would in college, we like would throw like stoplight parties. You know, you
Oh,
wear green if you're, you know, it- you're down to
your
party. Red,
DTF.
yeah, red basically means don't come near me. Oh, you can come talk to me, but do not flirt with me. I've got my own shit. And then yellow is somewhere in between.
It's
Granted, with
complicated.
this, it's yellow is it's complicated. Granted, that would not work with this group since
Nope.
they're all partnered up for the most part. But still, at least it's something. Besides, yeah, it's white part. I did love that the whole time Brittany and everybody were saying like, "Oh, Jax, he's got some nerve throwing a rival party." And Jax's rival party was like 5 dudes at Jax's bar. Even Schwartz came in and was like, "Is anybody else coming?" Like that was not a party.
It was Schwartz, one of Schwartz's younger brothers, one of the triplets that
Mm.
and then another guy who looked like Timu Corey Feldman.
Was
Like,
that to do with the mullet?
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, "That's who is
It,
that?" I was like it also looked like 2 other employees of Jax's
yeah,
who are in their
yeah.
off hours. I was
They
like, "This is sad."
they're building it up like, oh man, it's competing parties. Which what is Danny or the guys that are friends with Jax? What are they gonna do? And then you see it's just Jax hanging out with 3 dudes at his own bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys who are friends, like, I that's the thing. I don't think any of the men on the cast are really Jax's friends. Tom Schwartz, Jax's friend for
yeah.
sure. But these other guys, no.
Well, hell,
You know.
even the Julian that Brittany hooked up with, or I
Mhm.
guess started dating, not just hooked up with. Um, they made it seem like if you were to ask Jax, that's his best friend. Like
Mhm.
best friend in the world. I can't believe she did this to me. And then somebody else, might have been Brittany, was like, "Yeah, they've been friends for like a year."
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah,
Well, and on the after show, that is apparently that's a whole, Julian is a whole clusterfuck. Like apparently he is a guy who definitely he used to work at Tom Tom. He kind of like glommed onto the group. Everybody was saying like everybody else. He basically hung out to get stuff paid for by them, and everybody did admit that Jax was the closest to him. So they did admit that he was
okay.
closest with Jax. However, this isn't like a relationship with like either of the Toms or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And but also this guy Julian had slept with Lala before, he slept with some other people, but he's got a couple of kids and
Mm,
nobody knew that apparently he was still with his children's baby mama. And when Brittany found that out, she was like, "Yo,
mm.
I had no idea. Like, I can't sleep with you. Like, no." It's so, yeah, it just was like, she was like, "This is just sex." Like, and they also said that Julian was a love bomber. She's like, just like Jax is a love bomber. So she's like, of course, I kind of like fell into this like right away. But then when like, you know, yeah. So anyway, look, they say that like the best way to get over a guy is to get under another one. That's absolutely false. Like, no. it'll just fuck you up more, in my opinion. Like, sometimes
Yeah.
the revenge fuck is nice, like, to get out of your system, but at the same time, don't no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, but
And Schwartz was basically like the voice of reason. See, I know certainly for longtime VPR watchers, I know Schwartz isn't terribly popular. I kind of like him. And it kind of fell off last season, the whole Joe thing. Well, I liked, I mean, if anybody that's been listening to this podcast for a while, I was like shipping Joe and Schwartz in the beginning. And then I was like, oh no, she's crazy. You said you don't like to call
Mhm.
people crazy. Joe's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and so I kind of fell off, but I mean, Short just has like a sad puppy dog thing, at least the last couple seasons. I know before that he was different, but like this last season of VPR, he's like, oh, I kind of feel bad for that guy. But then he came in and was like sort of the voice of reason, saying you've hit rock bottom, or you're going to hit rock bottom.
Well, that's two things. He is a triple Libra, which is like insane. Like, sun, moon, and rising, all Libra. Like, so it's gonna make him likable yet deadly at the same time.
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
but he like, and I don't disagree. Like, I've always kind of liked Schwartz, but then there's times where you like, oh, I'm seeing this. We're seeing this behavior that you present in the real world finally on camera. So it doesn't necessarily look. We're all hypocrites. We're all good guys and bad guys. We're all the villain in somebody's story, and we're all the angel in somebody else's story. It's all just depends on, who you are. But Jax is the villain in everybody's story. That's
And
besides the
Sandoval.
point. And Sandoval, yeah.
So that's why Schwartz has really fallen in it, because maybe that's what makes him so sympathetic by comparison, is because he just hangs out with Sandoval and Jax all the time.
And I think that's why he does this, because I look better in comparison to these guys.
Yeah.
But also, I will say this: I did get a bit of a feeling of like, not only he is speaking truth to Jax and being honest with him, but he is also saying on camera what the producers need for him to say and need to say, because I guess at least now I'm kind of getting confused, but the producers basically were like, you have to go to rehab or you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so like, this is, in a lot of ways, it kind of was a setup to like have this conversation, but it might have even been a conversation that had been had, off camera. So I don't know. My thing was just like, again, it was like, ugh, you guys, like, why is it always like, it was just a lot more of like blaming Brittany. Like, Brittany does stuff too. Brittany's the one who made me mad. She's like, it's almost like Brittany drives me to be a bad person. Absolutely freaking not. Take some responsibility. But at the same, but also like, but and then using Cruz again. Well, I'm a father and like, I need to do this for my kid. Well, your kid is like 3 or 5 now. I don't remember exactly. I think it's 5 now. Your kid is 5 now. You've now had 5 years to get your shit together.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
He's being Jax Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Although it was two bar owners cutting it up about their menus, because I mean, did you know that TomTom got mozzarella sticks on their menu now? That's probably going to save the business, to be honest with you. Some good old
now,
mozz sticks.
yeah.
All right,
let's walk over to Schwartz and Sandy's and get some mozzarella sticks.
I think Schwartz called them mozzie sticks, which I've never heard anybody say before. And now I have reason to go to TomTom. Not really.
Go to TomTom, not Schwartz and Sandy's, because TomTom's the only one that exists.
Too soon.
No, it's never too soon.
No, it's not.
Actually, now, you know what isn't too soon? To hit that subscribe button. I just have to do a plug in the middle of the episode to hit subscribe.
That is professional broadcasting right there.
Anyway, go back. Sorry, cut you off.
Oh God, I don't. Oh, I was gonna say we'll really know that Bravo's scraping the bottom of the barrel if Sandoval shows up on this season.
Oh, it will. They're trying to give Sandoval. Look, Jeremiah Smith is the EP of the show. He also runs Southern Charm. He's doing this one. He's all about giving Sandoval a redemption arc. So I am quite certain we will see Sandoval at some point. Unless this was all done during Traitors filming, then maybe not.
I was, you know what? I feel like Traitors, at least based. I did not watch Traitors, but based on reactions I've seen on social media, Sandoval's not an image rehab, but he kind of, I guess, sort of popular on Traitors because of the stupid things he did. Like he was just the dumb guy that's so dumb. He's funny. So I don't know if that rehabbed his reputation at all to the point that now if he comes back, people might like him more. But there were so many memes of him made from Traitors. I'm like, oh, people kind of like him again.
It's complicated because I watched him on Traitors and he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they cut. I mean, I think they gave him plenty to work with to cut him as an idiot because they did. And also other cast members talking, they're like, oh yeah, he did so much stuff, like the whole like singing to the baby dolls, but then like they showed mostly him, but then apparently it was, oh, and I forgot her name, but one of the women from Big Brother, the blonde haired one, Brittany was the one who got most of them right and got them like to the people. So she was the one who sang them, but basically you saw mostly Tom, and it is somewhat image rehab for him. And but what I got really pissed about a few weeks ago, I actually posted it on my TikTok. If anybody wants to go check it out, they put him on the cover of Us Weekly, and I went ballistic. I was like, absolutely freaking not. This is not rehab for like morally corrupt men.
Yeah.
Like we're not using like I am fine. Like people need to like continue to make a living, but like I'm sorry, but there are women and people of color who have had their lives and their livelihoods destroyed for much less. Like, and then we have like this man, and I'm just saying, my hatred for Tom.
Well, and he's I mean, even before Traitors, he was on that Special Forces show. Like he's really doing the rounds, but I could totally see him coming. The only two I absolutely would not see moving, like Ariana's not coming to this thing. She's got bigger, better things. I can't see Katie doing it either. But everybody else is open for business. Like I was just happy to not see Lala and Sheena in at least the first episode because I know they're coming. And I was happy about another thing that we got minimal Luke. Because when I say Jason's got some creepy shit going on, we talked plenty last year. Luke absolutely has bodies on that Colorado property. There's no doubt he hunts people for sport, but he had very little in this episode. The promos for the rest of the season looks like he has a bit more, but yeah, I could do with less Luke in my life.
Like I am so team Kristen now. Like I never would have thought, like honestly, like 8 years ago watching Vanderpump Rules that I would ever like be team Kristen.
Yeah.
But like, you know, she's lovable and she's a lovable mess. She's a person like I think that you see learn from her mistakes, that she's fallible, but she's also kind of lovable, that she's trying and you do see growth. But that's the Luke is the one thing that I'm just like, girl, like you're just with them to have a baby and then you are stuck. When you have a baby with them and you are stuck with them, you're stuck with them forever.
18 years.
More than 18 years.
Yeah.
It is. It is the rest of your life. It is the rest of your life. And I just go, girl, you tied yourself to this man who doesn't want to live in LA, who owns property in Colorado that you have to truck water in. You guys are diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
On so many things.
And when he tells her, like his only real scene in the show, and he's telling her about, you know, if they want to have a baby, she's got to exercise. Was it like eat healthier, exercise more, not drink? And Kristen was like, you know, plenty of mothers drank, and back in our day, I turned out okay. Which she's not wrong. Like our parents all smoked and drank, and we think we turned out okay.
I mean, I love the joke. It's like the joke of like, you want to get pregnant, just go get drunk on prom night, like a lot of my classmates did.
There you go.
Like,
there you go.
like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. But when the whole like Kristen and Janet apology talk, which was a non-apology in all honesty, like uh it was interesting because I mean, look, Kristen can hold a grudge. I love it. It's great because it's not against me. But it was fascinating because uh it was such a because you've seen two apologies to Kristen this episode. Jesse's went off very well because he
Yeah.
was contrite. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
contrite.
it seemed heartfelt.
Yeah, and it was also a conversation, whereas Janet seemed very condescending and
Yeah,
also not really taking any responsibility for any of her part of like maybe what had happened. And so Kristen was just like, no. And
yeah,
I was definitely team Kristen, but when going back to the whole, Zack saying that supposedly saying that that he didn't want her baby to survive or whatever.
right.
When she said, "I'm sorry for roping you in with Zach's demonic behavior,"
Yeah.
that word honestly made my antenna go up, and I was like, because to me, this is just me, my opinion, and I don't know if anybody shares it with me. And if you do share it with me, put it down in the comments below on YouTube. That felt homophobic to me. The way she
Yeah,
called it a demonic, like, that felt homophobic, and especially because going back to, like, last season, it wasn't just that, like, oh, Michelle might have, like, some MAGA stuff, it was that Janet might have some MAGA stuff going
yeah.
on, and I was like it I just was like, "How is that, like, demonic?" I that just was such a really strong word, and I don't know, it just my antenna is up now, and so I think I'm probably just gonna be looking out for, like, more stuff from now on.
Mhm.
I don't know. If anybody else felt the same, please leave a comment. If you didn't, then let me know. Like, but I just feel like the rest of the season is going to let us know some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I complain about not much happening in that. There's certainly leaving, it seems like things will get interesting. I mean, obviously with the scenes from the season, it looks like things are getting interesting. But even just from this, if you looked at this episode as standalone, by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay, I see where all this is going. It's just nothing
Mhm.
happened now, but I can see where
Yeah.
all this is going. Because you said that Kristen holds a grudge. It seems like Janet holds a grudge too.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Jesse also holds a grudge because he's
Oh,
there, and
yeah,
and Michelle's there with her boyfriend,
yeah.
and they have the whole school talk, which
He's
he baited her. That was exactly what he said. He did everything to like tick her off. That whole thing was just again.
It's well, you can. I mean, this is part. It's just his personality, but with Kristen and with Janet, they're both at the party and they're both like, should I talk to her? I don't. I haven't even made eye contact. Jesse just went straight up to Michelle and her boyfriend. Just went
Mhm,
straight to them and like, let's go now. We're not gonna dance around this. Let's do it right now.
mhm.
I mean, he's not wrong about the Newport schools being better. He's not wrong.
He's also dating a woman. Like, Michelle clocked it. It's like, you've been dating a woman for 5 seconds. I mean, he's still dating that woman from what we know, like, who lives down there. She's like a real estate something. Anyway, but, like, yeah, like, he's very much oh my god, I just got the image in my head of, like, he's got, like, small dog energy of, like, "I'm a small dog, like, I'm a short guy. I'm just gonna go up and, like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna show you now.
yeah.
And all the big dogs, like Alex is just kind of like her new boyfriend. Is that his name, Alex? Yeah, I think so. Like, just walks back is like,
Aaron.
"Mm, Aaron, that's it."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Oh,
write
and
these
that
things.
when Aaron made some sort of comment about parenting to
Mhm.
that set Jesse off. He's like, "No, you are not talking about my child and how to parent my child."
Yeah, I mean, it's
It
everything's a pissing contest with Jesse.
and it
Like,
probably doesn't help that Aaron's a very tall man. Like that even makes his small dog energy even go in harder because yeah,
mhm.
there's a height discrepancy there.
Yeah. Oh, that's just gotta kill him. Oh my gosh. When Jesse was talking about putting on the, like, eye cream, Like he been putting on it because
Mhm.
Jason was like, I might need to get Botox. He's like, I've been putting on eye cream since I was 16 and like does this. And then Jason says, you're like American Psycho. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah,
And both Jessica and I looked at each other and I was like, does he know what that means? And I was like, and she was like,
it's
I don't think he knows what that means. And I go, and I was in my head, I was like, I think he knows exactly what that means.
yeah.
I think he knows exactly who uh uh Bateman,
Patrick.
Patrick Bateman. Thank you.
Yeah,
Because I wanted to say
Not
Jason
Jason,
Bateman,
not
not
Jason
Jason.
Bateman. No, let's hope Jason Bateman's not like that. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
yeah, but Patrick Bateman, I was like, Patrick Bateman, oh my gosh.
That's why I find Jesse, Jesse's, I find him so compelling. I felt the same way last year. I know a lot of people think he's an asshole, and he is, but he's an asshole who's so self-aware that he's an asshole. And he also just, he's got the riz, as the kids say.
Mhm.
Like, there's just something about him that I'm just like, I want to see more of this guy. Like, even if he's being a total dick, like Jax being an asshole, I don't need to see that. We know Jax is an asshole. We're tired of Jax being an asshole. But I don't know, there's just something about Jesse. I don't know what it is.
There's something about
There's
Jesse.
just
I mean,
something.
and he might end up becoming the number one villain. And that, oh my God, that would make Jax spiral even more. Because yeah, like we said, like Jax is dumb and just works from id, whereas Janet and Jesse work from ego. But I also think that like Jesse is definitely, I think he's still smarter than Janet. God damn it. I hate to admit when a man is smarter than a woman.
Fair, fair.
Yeah, but I think he is. I mean, I think, well, only to a point. We're just gonna have to see how the season plays out. I don't want to I don't like making too many predictions at the beginning of a season because it definitely can
Yeah.
like sway, you know. I don't I Some people like to get locked in right away with somebody. I don't. Like I can have opinions, but I always reserve my right to change my mind like any good woman should, you know.
Wait, so did you say that Brock and Sheena and Lala were on the after show?
Oh, and Tom Schwartz, yeah.
Why were I mean, Schwartz, I get. Why were the other 3? They had nothing to do with this. Why were they on the after show?
Well, because they filmed the after show with the entire cast. Like they have a
Oh,
separate like
okay, I
group.
thought it was
So
just
yeah.
like okay, okay,
No.
got it.
No, so they have like the after show, they have Brittany and Lala filming together. They have Janet, Sheena, and I think Michelle filming together. They have I think Nia and Zach or Nia and Jasmine. I can't remember.
It's hard to keep track of. I mean, yes, the show's only been on. This is only the second season, but it's hard to keep track of the alliances and who came in being whose friend.
Mhm.
It's so I'm like, I see Nia and Jesse, or sorry, Nia and Zach having lunch together. I'm trying to remember, were they even close last year? I can't. It's hard to remember all the friendships. Yes, at least the whole point last year was they're all in Jax's orbit. Like that, he was he was the center of the wheel that brought them all
Yeah.
together. But now I can't remember who was friends with who coming into the show.
Mhm. I mean, I think a lot of it is, yeah, the nucleus was like the Jackson Brittany
Yeah,
nucleus
yeah.
because also like because Zach is originally from Kentucky. It was like Brittany's friend from Kentucky. So there's that.
And I know Jesse and Jax were models together. They met in their modeling days. Wasn't that the whole
Oh,
thing?
didn't they?
I thought
Did
so.
they?
I thought that I'm pretty sure because Jesse was a model too. I'm pretty sure that was their relationship as they became friends because they used to be in the modeling world together. I could be
Oh.
completely wrong, but I think that's what it was. I don't remember Danny was obviously also Jax's friend and Jesse's friend. I don't remember the connection there, like how long they had been friends, if they were childhood friends. I don't know. It's hard to
Also,
believe anybody's friends with Jax, to be honest with you.
let's also like not get it twisted. A lot of these like friendships like coming into a show are very loose. They are very much like this is one of those things where it's not that it's scripted, but that is very produced sometimes. Like just like Bose being Sutton's friend coming in.
That's funny you say that. That's a great example because by the end of the season, I had totally forgotten. Like Jordan mentioned that like that was Bose's entrance. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that because they had very little real interaction all season. Totally forgot.
Mhm. Yep, exactly. So that's, so how they are, like there's some casting going on there. Or you could just know somebody in your orbit. You could be like, I've met this fun guy at auditions before, because Danny's a voiceover actor and stuff like that. So it's like if you're trying to do like, or I played, softball with this guy on this,
Yeah.
local league, and he seems very cool, and he's got kids, he's got a pregnant wife, like he's a voiceover actor, he'd be cool, that it can just happen like that, where there's a loose affiliation for
Hmm.
somebody. So because they do these castings for the Bravo shows, once it's kind of settled, they do try to find somewhat of a connection. They don't try to just do it blind, because you can feel it. Like on Summer House right now, Lexi and Bailey, like they're not really anybody's friends. So like coming in is kind of weird, but like obviously Lexi's become something. We don't know what's happening with Bailey. I didn't get to watch last night's episode, but anyway, but they do try to make somewhat of a loose connection there somehow. Like when Paige and Hannah came in, they knew Amanda, but it still wasn't like extreme. It wasn't like they were best friends, but it still was like it was a loose but their connection.
Or
So yeah.
like last year's Beverly Hills, Anne Marie was just Kyle's neighbor. That
Yeah.
that was seemed to be the only connection. Like she wasn't friends with anybody.
Hmm. Yeah. But look, even if you don't have a strong connection to any of these people on these shows, you could still get cast. So never give up if you really want to be on a Bravo television show.
That's the spirit.
There you go. Anything could happen. You can manifest anything.
True. True.
Oh, well, I think that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
No, no, that was everything I had. It was delightful to hear Zach refer to say the word punani. That made me when he said Brittany is up in Janet's punani, and he built a nest like a squirrel. I thought that was very fun. I find Zach delightful. He's I don't know if he doesn't have like main character energy, but he's a very funny sidekick, which is Jasmine. Jasmine had some great lines last year. I hope
Mhm.
she has a bigger part in this season because she had very little to do this episode.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I hope she does more because I love her. I like her and Zach a lot.
I do too. I do too. I think they definitely and more than just like I want them to be more than just like the sassy sidekick friends, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I definitely do, cuz I mean it would be fun if like because they were talking at the very beginning, like her and her girlfriend, like they got engaged. Because I mean,
yeah.
we already know that, but we know that Luke and Kristen get engaged, so that's probably they're Jasmine and her girlfriends would be overshadowed, in my opinion.
Am I just imagining this, or did they show in the previews coming up? Is there also like a baby storyline with Jasmine? Or am I just totally imagining that? Like I thought she and her girlfriend. There'd be too many baby storylines, to be honest with you.
There's
You
a lot of
you
babies.
one is enough. We don't need 8 of them. And I feel like we're gonna get multiple ones because you got Danny and Nia talking about a fourth one, and
Oh
then
God.
you've got. I mean, the main one is Kristen trying to get pregnant. Like we don't need multiple ones. And you've already got Janet already has a very small child. It's just
Uh-huh.
I get that this show is the whole point of it. It's supposed to be like the VPR people once they're grown in adulthood and having
Mhm.
kids, but I don't need every storyline to be about kids, you know? You
We're
know?
so anti-child, you and
Yeah.
I, and Jordan. Like we're all just like. "Mm."
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're a fan if you want all children plot lines. I apologize, but I don't really.
But also, like, Bravo may not be for you. Like, TLC is more the reality
Yeah.
television, like like, network for you if you are all about the children.
Yes.
Like
Like, okay, so Danny and Nia, like, have it that if they do have another child, and it was a real kind of a weird reason that Nia wanted to have the 4th now so she could get her body back, or
I
she wouldn't have
I
as much trouble.
I get that. It was one of those like, when they first I was like, "Nia," I was like, "Oh my god." But then when what she was saying, I understood, like,
Yeah.
from a female perspective because and also, like, she was a beauty queen too. The thing I do think it's something that even as a woman who has not had a child, I do get because your body is not your own for so long, and you know, So I empathized with her and I was like, okay, I understand that. I don't necessarily have to agree with it, but it's also not my life. It's not my life. But I just where I was like, you have 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I was like, yeah, you will have to move to Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, and if you're talking about last year, like interest rates last year, I was like, this is not like on it. This is not the time to what are we doing? This is not the time to have big families financially. So
Yeah.
like who knows? Who knows? But I do understand that. But there's also something like chemical that does happen a lot of time. Like, no, there's something chemical scientifically has been proven that happens to women once the babies reach a certain age. They actually like babies like give off this chemical or they stop giving off a chemical that then women like kind of crave. It's like a pheromone type of thing. And then that makes them want to have babies. So sometimes when you hear women, I'm sure your sister did this too, of like
Mhm.
all of a sudden you're like, why the hell do you want another child? And like intellectually, she doesn't know why she wants another
Yeah.
child, but she wants another child. And that's what happens. So there's also that happening.
Oh, I watching that scene of her saying she wants the 4th, just the look on Danny's face, I've seen that with my brother-in-law, where they had 3 and my sister's like, "Well, maybe a 4th," and my brother-in-law's like, "What?
Yeah.
No."
Mhm.
But you're right, like, if their whole thing is having, 4 young children and living in Santa Clarita, that's a different show. That's a TLC show. That's
Yeah.
not Bravo. So I get that part.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, maybe you could find something in Granada Hills, but Quarter
Maybe.
Ranch, maybe. But yeah. Anyhow, well, I think that's it for this week. Welcome back, the Valley. We love the 818.
Mm, true.
We've
Some
got
more
Nate
than
one Nate.
others. Nate 18, yeah.
Nate 18.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we will be back next week on Thursday. We'll be back at our regularly scheduled PCP Thursdays. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Notifications up so you get notified when they come up. I mean, look, I get notified when our podcast comes up, both on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Like I've got my notifications. I'm like, yay, it
Me
posted.
too.
I
Yeah.
did it right. So
Woo!
so make sure you got that. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials. Leave us a comment. Always be nice, be kind, no trolling, whether it's trolling of us or trolling of, people on the shows, because we all have opinions, but we're not the ones putting our lives on for those opinions to be
Yeah.
taken in a
Unless
mean way
unless you
necessarily.
wanna troll Luke, I have no problem with you trolling Luke.
Okay, Nate said that, not me, but
That's true.
well, I did call him Sauce last year, so
Yeah, yeah.
or Jigsaw, so yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. Well, I've accused him of hunting humans for sport, so I guess I can't really pull that back much more, you know?
Yeah, maybe I'm see,
Yeah.
hypocrites, all of us, hypocrites, all of us. Anyway, but yeah, but we'll be back next week, and we will be so like I feel like we should have a different sign off for the Valley. It should be like for sure, yeah. I mean, I do say
Uh,
like a lot, you know.
like, I don't know, we'll workshop it. By episode 2, we'll have a better sign off,
Mhm.
because maybe Jordan has something as a lifelong Valley born and raised. He might have a little something.
He is a Valley boy. He is a Valley boy, but then again, my name is Stacy, and Stacy is from Valley Girl, the movie. So
There you go.
check it out, y'all. All
There
right.
you go.
We will see y'all next week for sure.